What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Edge Work on the Hammer Betting Network. We got a great show for you today, Tuesday show. We got Alex, Todd, Matt, and I'm filling in for Zach. My name's Jason. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Before we get started with the show, though, I want to remind everyone on Twitter, come head over to YouTube, guys. And if you're on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that like button. It really helps us grow. And on YouTube, again, you can chat with us and we can interact and you can tell us how much you love or hate our bets. So, without further ado, let's kick off today's show. We're going to take it down a little different road today. We're going to start with some futures instead of recapping last night's bets. So, Todd, I know you wanted to specifically talk about a certain player award, and you want to talk about the Norris, and you were looking at a player who isn't really the odds-on favorite right now. So, if you want to elaborate more on that, who you like for the Norris this year?
Yeah, I recently played Adam Fox plus 650 for the Norris. He's fourth in scoring among defensemen, averaging over a point per game. He's playing 25 minutes a night. There's no runaway leader this year. Like Cale Makar is not going nuclear to the extent that maybe expected because of all Colorado's injuries. I don't think Erik Karlsson or Josh Morrissey are good enough defensively to win the award. So Fox is kind of the guy who's putting up a lot of points, but he's also one of the defensive leaders in even strength defense war. So basically, I just think of the guys putting up a lot of points, he's got the best two-way game. So I think there's value on him at plus 650.
I honestly like that a lot. The only thing that worries me, though, is that most of these awards are dependent on the voters, right? So are you worried at all that maybe the voters won't value the X award defensively as much as you do? Or is that something you're just going to have to roll with?
I'm just rolling with it. I just don't think if he's at or near the top of the league for defensive scoring and playing big minutes and the Rangers kind of stabilize, I'll take my chances at those odds.
Fair enough.
Who votes on the Norris? Who's in charge of the Norris?
The people,
media, I think.
PHW,
The public.
the same people,
the hockey writers.
The same people who did not have McDavid in as a Hart vote last year. One person.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Just checking on that. Okay.
And Alex, I know you also wanted to touch on some futures. Are you leaning towards player awards? Or are you looking at more team futures and outrights?
I'm looking at a team future. Same one I gave out a few weeks ago on the show that Zach did not track. That's why he's not here today. I think we gave him a bit of a timeout. I was looking at the bet stamp and I realized that was not on there. So Jason, if you would be so kind as to track this one for us this time at a worse price now. So thanks Zach for that. I like the Canes to win the Metro. I think they were 9 points back of the Devils 10 days ago. And, the Devils have obviously been slumping a little bit. Obviously, this is still a very good team. They're still going to have no problem making the playoffs, whatever. But, 1 point from their last 5. Canes have won 5 in a row. Suddenly, they're tied atop the Metro. I think the Canes are just sort of hitting their stride right now. They've won 9 of their last 10, despite some of their injuries over that span. They're runaway leaders in the NHL in expected goal share at 62.5%. Next best are the Caps at 57.5%. So they're playing really good hockey right now. They haven't had Aho in any of their last 5 games, still 5-0. Teravainen missed a few weeks earlier. Pacioretty obviously hasn't played yet this year. He'll be back at one point, probably in February, something like that. That'll be a nice boost for the offense. Anderson's been out for over a month. Maybe not the worst thing in the world because Kochetkov has been fantastic. So I think, letting him sort of grab the crease right now and run with it is maybe a good thing for this team. They just know how to play regular season hockey, right? We've seen it over the last few years. They've dominated in the regular season consistently. It's the playoffs where things sort of let them down. But I think that, now that they're in this position where they're sort of tied atop the Metro, I think that, they're in a really good spot. And you can get them at plus 160 right now, I think at Bet365 and Caesars, which is a little bit of an off-market price. But I think, that's something that you should be hitting pretty hard. They just know how to navigate the grind of a long season. And I think they're in good position to sort of take a stranglehold over this division. Not a knock on the Devils either, Todd. Like I said, I think obviously that's a very good hockey team. No problem making the playoffs. But they've also been a bit lucky in the health department. Guys like Heischer's missed 1 game. Hughes, Hamilton, and Bratt have not missed any. These are guys that have missed time in the past. Maybe they experience a little bit of regression there. Guys miss some time here and there. And I think that this is just a really good price to grab the Canes at.
Yeah, I love that. And honestly, good little preview for tonight's game because we have those two guys facing off. So it's going to be a big one and honestly could potentially swing the odds after tonight. So if you like the Canes plus 160, go grab them. And speaking of the Canes, Martin Necas has been what a treat he's been this year. He's been great for them. So that's always good to see. And finally, Matt, you got a future for us? Where are you looking here?
Jason, I have 2 of them.
Oh boy!
But we got to get out of here. Alex has a deadline. So we're gonna do a little tease. Next week, we're gonna give out a 28-1 long shot. So tune in next Tuesday. I'm gonna go with into the division markets. The Minnesota Wild plus 550 to win the Central Division. Now, Colorado is taking all of the win probability in the market, even though. Honestly, obviously, first of all, Landeskog, McKinnon out right now. You're hoping they're coming back in the next couple of weeks, but that's not necessarily, set in stone. You look at it at the old standings here, and the Dallas Stars are in the lead, and they're about 6 points clear of the Wild. They're 3 points ahead of the Winnipeg Jets, and I don't think we think the Jets are all that great. And so the Wild are sitting there 6 points back with 2 games in hand. Their next 2 games are against the Ducks and the Sharks. That's kind of a nice lead into the Christmas break. And then you've got the Avalanche sitting there getting all this credit, just the assumption that they're going to be good when those guys come back. And, listen, they're pulling off victories now. There's the 1-0, shootout or overtime win last night where you're sitting there going like, I don't understand how they keep winning these games at these prices. The market has not adjusted on a game-to-game basis the way that I think they should, but it doesn't seem to matter because they're winning a fair amount of these games, being minus 160 favorites without those 2 guys. And so the market's not adjusting to them on a game-to-game basis, and the market certainly isn't adjusting to them on a sort of macro basis here. And so even when those guys were playing and over the course of this entire season, honestly, the Avalanche have played at a pretty average level at even strength, right? From an expected goals, high danger chances, 5-on-5, et cetera, et cetera. And meanwhile, the Wild right now, I think are playing under those same metrics, kind of the best in this division. And it's not like they have some 12-point disadvantage that they have to make up, which, by the way, even if they did at this point in the season, it wouldn't be that drastic, right? You just talked about the Carolina Hurricanes absolutely just, running it the last couple of weeks. And so I think the latter half of this season, or the latter, 5/8 of this season, I think the Wild are going to sort of reap more rewards from the hockey that they're playing. And then, by the way, they're plus 550. Right. And so this is a team that could be for the rest of this season just as good as the Colorado Avalanche. They could be better than the Dallas Stars. And certainly I think they're better than the Winnipeg Jets. And you're getting plus 550 when all of these other teams are essentially in like the plus 180 to plus 200 type of a range here. I think the Minnesota Wild are being slept on here with a ton of time left. Plus 550, I think, is a really good bet. And they're going to be in the mix come the first week of April.
Yeah, I think as hockey fans and hockey, just everyone in hockey likes to overreact to the first couple of games. We talked about it early on in the year. And I think people's interpretation of the Minnesota Wild this year are based so much on those first couple of games. They really look like a completely different team over the past couple of games. So like you said, they have all the good underlying metrics that you want to be looking for in teams that end up winning games. So
and they've won 5 straight. So like now is the time. Like I could have saved
Exactly.
this one for next week and hit you with the 28-1. But we got to get on this now because this might be a 7-game win streak going into the Christmas break. At which point, odds makers, bettors, et cetera, are going to kind of clue in that the Wild are a really good team, and we're going to see this plus 550 price go away.
Exactly. All right. Well,
love the teaser too. Love the teaser.
Yeah.
Don't forget next week, Tuesday here on the
totally are going to forget about this. Once I get some turkey and some stuffing in me, listen, it's all going out the window.
Don't forget, guys, hit that subscribe button. If you want to see that futures pick next week, you'll be notified every time we go live. And if you're on Twitter, come over to YouTube hit that subscribe button. Just helps us out. Goes a long way in the YouTube algorithm. And before we get into the games tonight, I want to remind everyone you can follow us on BetStamp to see all of our picks. Just go to that little tab. It has like 2 people beside each other. It's called Find Betters, and search edge_work. And then follow us on BetStamp, and you'll see all our picks, and you'll get notified when we track them live. So, go follow us. All right, getting into today's game, starting off with our friend over here, Todd's New Jersey Devils, going up against the Carolina Hurricanes. New Jersey's kind of fallen off over the past couple of games in the goalie department wise. They've rode a hot shooting or save percentage early on in the year, have been letting in a few more goals lately. Todd, are you worried about them, or what do you think about this matchup between them and the Carolina Hurricanes?
I don't know if they'll win tonight. I don't have a play in the game, but in general, I'm not too worried. Their underlying numbers, the last 5 games, like all losses, are still really good. I believe they're 4th highest Corsi and 6th or 7th in expected goals, and their numbers are still really good. They've just shot 5% while the goaltending has sucked, as you mentioned. But But as long as they continue to outchance their opponent more often than not, they still have way too much talent, especially up front, to lose a lot of games moving forward. So I don't have a play on this game tonight, but I'm not worried about the Devils long term.
All right.
Yeah, I was just to sort of add on to that. Obviously, my numbers actually make that a perfectly fair price on both sides, or I should say accurate price on both sides. So I don't really have a bet on it, but I would sort of lean to the Hurricanes here because the pricing is based off of the season-long numbers for the Devils, which, as we've talked about every week, are awesome and not sustainable, but at the same time, not a fluke either, right? Like, you rather be so good that it's not sustainable than sort of everybody wondering how you're winning all of these games. And this is honestly just variance kind of catching up to the Devils, right? When you play to a level where you should be winning, say, 75% of your games, and you win 100% of your games, eventually things are kind of going to come back the other way. And you might lose 5 games in a row despite still playing pretty well. Right. So I don't think there's anything to worry necessarily about the Devils, but like Alex said earlier, I think the Carolina Hurricanes are a force to be reckoned with. We're going to be ready to get hurt again by the Hurricanes come playoff time. But yeah, maybe the Canes tonight, but there certainly isn't any sort of value either way.
The other thing you have to look for tonight is if Sebastian Aho is going to play, because it sounds like he will, based on Brind'Amour's comments last week, but he obviously hasn't played in the last 5 games. He said after the weekend, they're going to sort of reevaluate things and need more practice time. That's why he didn't play against Pittsburgh. So if he's in there and you do want to bet the Canes, I'd wait for confirmation, and then I'd try and act very quickly if we do get that confirmation, because I'm sure we'll see this line move pretty fast as well.
Yeah, so everyone pay attention to Twitter. Keep those tweet notifications on, and if you see Aho in or out, react accordingly. All right, on to the next game. We have Tampa Bay going against Toronto, the rematch from the first round of the playoffs last year, which was a fun series. Last time they played, Leafs lost in OT. 2 hot teams, like they've been among the hottest in the league. Matt, what are your takes on this game? You have any plays here?
No, I think the number's pretty fair. Obviously, both teams, like you said, coming in pretty hot. My best bet of the night is not any of these sort of high profile games. So I'll leave it to the other guys to sort of be able to weigh in on this.
Alex?
Yeah, I don't have a bet necessarily on this game either. I would lean towards the Leafs though if I was going to, but this is going to be a fun game. Like both these teams are playing outstanding hockey right now. So yeah, I mean, every time they play, obviously there's a little bit of bad blood from the playoffs too. I think this will be a fun game. I think we're getting a little bit maybe a value on the Leafs, but I mean, Tampa's been fantastic too. So it's not one that I'm gonna be rushing to bet, but it is one that I will definitely have eyes on when that game starts.
I'd probably need the closer I am to betting this is probably Tampa, but I would need like Tampa plus 130 to 135.
Yeah, I don't think we're getting.
And it's
there.
it's like we're not getting that, so it's not kind of worth mentioning. So you never know. It's the Leafs; they might get better.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, and best odds on the market right now, minus 133 for the Leafs, plus 123 for the Lightning. Todd, are you looking any way, or are you just kind of staying off this game?
I have a player prop.
There we go.
Here
we got some. I knew we'd have some sort of bet on this game.
Yeah, I played Mitch Marner over 2.5 shots, minus 128. He has 36 shots, 67 attempts over the last 10 games. He's hit in 8 in the last 10 games. He's hit in 8 of the last 12 against Tampa Bay. And I just see a lot of value at that price. Like Matthews' shot prop is generally 4.5. He has 73 attempts over the last 10. Marner has 67, and you're getting 2.5. So, like, you don't need anywhere near the same volume on net, and you're getting the same kind of volume in terms of attempts. So, I really like Marner at this price.
67 is a pretty key number for the Leafs as well. If we remember that.
Oh, the old curse-breaking number. All right, I love that bet, especially since Marner's been split up from Matthews. I feel like he's felt the need to like feed the puck to his teammates less, and he's been shooting more for himself. So I love that take here. All right, moving on to the last game we have that we're going to break down before we get into our best bets. Ed Mazing, I see your comment here. What are the best money lines tonight? We're going to get to that in a second. We're just going to go through this game first. It's going to be the New York Rangers against the Pittsburgh Penguins. The Rangers are looking good, right? They're back, but the Pittsburgh Penguins are incredibly hot. They looked horrible to start the year, and Sidney Crosby said, "Screw this," put the team on his back, and has just been carrying them ever since. Minus 133 for Pittsburgh, plus 123 for the Rangers. Alex, you have any plays on this game, or is it just another fun game that you're going to be watching, not betting on? No.
Yeah, in terms of like price, I'm not really like rushing to bet anything here, but like my mind tells me that I want to be on Pittsburgh because I think Pittsburgh is playing they are playing very, very well right now. Sullivan, like I'm so high on him as a coach. I think, that's why, when they had that early season sort of slump, I had confidence in them getting out of it because of, like the character on that team and with him behind the bench. The Rangers are a team that I'm also just somewhat low on, but they've been playing a little bit better now too. Obviously they've won I think something like 8 in a row. So, not something I'm crazy rushing to bet right now, but I think the Rangers underlying numbers haven't really reflected their big winning streak. So maybe they're due for a little bit of regression, whereas Pittsburgh, that hasn't been the case. Their numbers are right in line with how many games they've been winning. So it would be Pittsburgh or nothing for me.
Alex, are you having any PTSD to the playoffs last year? Is that what's keeping you off of this game fundamentally?
Rangers and PTSD just go hand in hand with me. I don't even want to say anything bad about the Rangers because I can't open Twitter for 2 weeks after if that's the case.
Right.
All right, Todd, you have any play tonight? Any shot props here? Or
yeah, I played Kreider over 2.5 at -118. He's away from Zibanejad, which I like because Zibanejad doesn't really accomplish anything at 5-5. I'm sure I'll get plenty of tweets about this. And Kreider has a really strong success rate against Pittsburgh. Over the last couple of years, he's averaged 3.6 shots per game against Pittsburgh, has hit in something like 8 of the last 11. And generally, he's been better on the road than at home. So I like Kreider tonight.
Awesome. I love that. Matt, any play for tonight, or are you staying off this one?
Nothing for me. Price looks okay on either side as far as not having any value whatsoever.
All right, fair enough. All right, well, those are the 3 games we were going to recap, and now we're going to head over to our best bets. I know you guys have some good bets you like to play, and then after we do our best bets, we have a little special Toddy props here. Todd's gonna give out some of his favorite props of the night. So stick around for that after you see our best bet. So all right, who wants to start? Let's go with Alex first. What's your best bet of the night, Alex?
Oh, I'm gonna steal this from Matt, or Matt, we're gonna just consensus it. I'll let Matt go first, and I'll piggyback onto him.
You do all the on ice analysis for this. This is one where we're not even going to watch the game. That worked out for us a couple of weeks ago with the +250 on the Anaheim Ducks. Though the Anaheim Ducks are an interesting bet, another sort of +250 adjacent type of bet that we wouldn't necessarily want to watch. The best bet of the night is the San Jose Sharks. +160, I think, available right now. Maybe something a little bit better than that.
+160.
160 is the best we could do. Okay. Absolutely fine by me. I make this 134 on either side, right? So -134 Flames, +134 Sharks. So we're getting around 4.5% of value here. That's good enough for me to back a home underdog. Certainly. I think this price is, I think we're still kind of thinking the Flames are going to come around here at some point. And honestly, we talked about divisional prices. Flames at +80, 850. Maybe they have a good run to the end of the season. That just hasn't shown up yet for me. They are honestly at an even strength level right now, playing about as good as the San Jose Sharks. And so when you're talking about that, you give me the home team, you give me +150 or better. I'm certainly going to take that. Alex, take it away.
Yeah. I mean, that's the same thing with me. And if we're going to double down here on the Sharks, maybe I'll go with the +1.5. I think you can get like -150, -155, something like that.
So you can get the green check mark and I'll get the red X.
Yeah.
Great.
Thanks, I am on the Sharks as well on the money line with you. But I mean, just to piggyback off what Matt said, like Sharks have won just 3 of their last 12. So all signs point to them being in a spiral. They are very much not in a spiral. The underlying numbers are actually pretty impressive. What's let them down is goaltending. They've allowed I think they've allowed 5 goals or more in 6 of those 12 games. Kakanen's been absolutely brutal. He started this last game against the Flames in San Jose on Sunday as well. And now we're getting basically the same price on the Sharks, despite the fact that Reimer is going to be back for this one. He was on IR for a little while. He came back last week, started 2 games, only allowed 2 goals in each of those games. He's been playing way better than Kakinen. It's not even, in the same ballpark. So now we're getting basically the same price, significant goaltending upgrade on a Sharks team that have posted a 53% expected goal share over these 12 games, despite losing, 9 of them. And the Flames are just at 50% over that same stretch. So, yeah, I think we're just getting a team that's playing good hockey, but the results haven't quite been there, but we can attribute that to the bad goaltending and take this good price and run with it.
Hold on. I'm going to triple down. I'm going to triple down here.
Let's go. Let's go.
Further to the last point, the Flames have been playing kind of like mediocre as hell. The other day, the game was pretty close. High danger chances were 10-10 at 5-5. Just Kakinen sucks. So Kakinen's second last in the entire NHL in goals saved above expected. He's minus 14.2. Reimer's a plus, so that's a huge upgrade. And as they mentioned, the Sharks, there's reason to believe they can play the Flames pretty evenly, maybe even get the better of the chances. So I'll take them at this price with Reimer in net.
So congratulations, Calgary Flames, on your victory.
By 7 goals.
Yeah, 5-0 after 20 minutes.
8-7 in a shootout.
I love it. So we're tripling down, pushing all our chips in the middle, hitting the San Jose Sharks this week. I love it. And before we get going, we have our props. So Todd, you want to take away the Toddy's props?
Yeah, so I've given out Marner and Kreider already. I have two more. Kevin Fiala over 2.5 minus 145. Normally I don't play those kind of prices, but I love Fiala tonight. He's hitting 10 straight home games. He's the Kings' #1 shooter. The Ducks are the worst shot suppression team in the entire NHL. Dating back even a few years, Fiala's hitting 10 of the last 12 against Anaheim. But the brunt of it here is that Fiala's the go-to shooter for the Kings, and the Ducks are the worst shot suppression team in the league. So I'm happy to back Fiala here at minus 145. If you want to juice it up a little bit, you can add the Kings over minus 1.5, over 2.5, Fiala with over half a point, something like that, just to get plus money. All in on Fiala. And then I also like Kevin Hayes over 2.5 minus 120. He's been shooting a ton for the Flyers of late. He's hitting 7 of the last 8 games, and one of the games he didn't hit, he was benched in. So like he didn't play as much. He's shooting a ton. The Jackets are the only team worse than the Ducks over the last 10 games. The only team worse than the Ducks over the last 10 games at preventing shots is the Jackets. They're in a road back-to-back. They're missing 4 blue liners, like half their forward core. They suck. So I like Kevin Hayes for over 2.5 shots.
I love that, and a good little bounce back after getting scratched the other night. So I think that's it for us today on Edgework. Guys, one last reminder, if you enjoyed our show, please give us a like, please subscribe. It really helps us out. It goes a long way. And if you want to leave a comment too, also helps. So anyways, for Alex, for Todd, for Matt, I'm Jason Cooper. You can catch us here tomorrow, same time, new crew. So thank you so much for tuning in, guys, and have a good rest of your day.